Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Hi. I'm welcome to the Jackie and Laurie Show. I'm Laurie Kilmartin.
I'm Jackie Cation.
I'm fucking tired. How about you?
I bet you are. I did that thing where you take the earliest flight in the world and then you think you're going to have the whole day and then you sleep all day.
Yeah.
But then I don't have a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
So I got to sleep all day.
You came from Austin this morning?
I came from Austin, Texas with a 4:20 pickup. 4:20 a.m. You guys, nobody's smoking. The worst.
My God.
The worst. But when they said it, there was just a smiley face on the transportation. There was like, your pickup is at 4:20 smiley face. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. You got to
In other
acknowledge.
news.
You can't let it go unacknowledged.
You got to be polite. And then, but it was a direct flight and I got bumped up to first class.
Oh my God. What airline?
Delta.
Wow.
So I got
that's
breakfast.
a real first class.
Yeah. Joe DeRosa, Deborah DiGiovanni, and Josh, who does the Jam. 3 names. Alan. Stuart. He's great. Adam Myers. That's it. Josh, Adam. Adam Myers. I went Alan. I knew he had 3 names. It's Adam. Josh, Adam Myers has the Van Jam.
Yeah.
Where you do stand up and then you sing with a live band.
Oh my God.
Ginny
That's
Garofalo
amazing.
lost her shit because she was on it.
Yeah.
And Josh told me that she sang
Does he
entirely.
Wait, he does this in LA too?
Yeah, at the store and.
Where did he
With Bill
get
Burr.
a van in? Did he just rent a van in Austin and do it there?
No, it was at a theater. I think
Okay.
it was just. I think he called it the Van Jam,
Oh,
but there's
okay.
no van.
Okay.
And then but I guess she sang entirely in the fetal position.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I can't even remember.
That's
what
how
she
I want to
sang.
do this podcast today, is from the fetal position.
You came from New York again.
This is another idea that looks great on paper, much like you. Like, yeah, then I'll have all data. Okay, so my last spot last night was at Stand Up New York, 12:15.
Wow.
Then
No.
yes, then
Oh.
I have a 6 a.m. flight out of JFK. Need to be there at 5. Need to be summoning Uber at 4.
Right.
Get back to my place at around 1:30,
Yeah.
and I can't sleep because I
You
don't want to
won't
miss
wake
my
up.
flight. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just awake the whole time. Fly, get
Do you
here.
ever do that thing
But-
where you're like, no, I'm going to fly, and then you wake up every 45 minutes in a panic?
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things, one of those half sleeps.
the worst.
And then I had in December, I saw this ad for this thing called Shen Yun.
What is that?
It's this Chinese dance company, and it
Oh.
was like everyone said it was great. I'm like, I got to get my kid culture and shit. So I bought tickets to it in December, and that's why I had to get this ticket. And it was the 1:00 show. I'm like, what
Today?
the fuck did I do to myself? Yes.
Oh my God.
That's why I didn't take such an early flight.
Oh, no.
So I land, and I have to take my son almost immediately to
see dance. To see dance.
see Chinese dance.
Oh.
And I guess I thought it was going to be a little more Cirque du Soleil. It was like,
But was it
ancient
traditional
dances
Chinese,
of
ancient-
different parts of China. And I'm like, fuck, I'm so bored. And my kid, by the way, I've gone to lengths and
Yep.
expense, and my kid fell asleep on my arm during the tenor. During one of the tenor songs.
I wouldn't have been surprised if you both just cuddled up like spoon or be spooned.
That's
and
what I
fell
want to do.
Just sleep on top of his
I
head.
was spooning on him
you're
before
like,
I left for the podcast today.
Oh, that's right, because you put him to bed.
Yeah.
Aw, super. Well, how is everything? It's only been a couple of weeks,
Yeah. And listen, it's my fault we're here tonight because we did 2 last time we were here, but I told a story that I ended up regretting telling.
Right.
And I referred to it so many times during the podcast that we couldn't extricate it without.
Right.
So,
We just wrapped it up.
yeah.
And that
but then, can
yeah.
I just say that I can never go to you for any sort of moral guidance because I said to Jackie, I just feel I don't want this out. It's many years ago, but it's not good. And you go, well, you know what? I have a friend who said they fucked a dog.
Yeah.
And that was I'm like, so if my story is above fucking a dog, then it's okay with you.
No.
You're no help.
I am not any help, but I will say this about your story. You acted in a responsible adult manner, and
Dude,
I
we
will have
didn't.
to agree to disagree, I guess, because
You're an enabler.
I am
and
not
you're
an
a
enabler.
dangerous person.
I am
and
not.
you just handed me a comic book, so you are an
That's
enabler.
it.
You're
That's
trying to suck
giant
me
days,
into
you
your
guys. Giant days
thing.
It's slice of life. It's a good one.
I'm
You'll like it.
excited.
Yeah.
It's
There's no supernatural. There's not a superhero. There's no
Okay.
science fiction.
That's good.
There's no Harry Potter. There's no wizards. It'll
All right.
be fine. It's all going to work out for you. It's not even. It's barely animated. No,
Okay.
it's a comic book.
Okay.
So it has got that going for it. So yeah. So the thing is I'm surprised you would tell people, because one of the great things about podcasting is
you can
that
delete things.
well, there's that. I mean,
Or-
but nobody ever does. I mean, that is
Yeah.
because there's 9 people listening, and you're like, well,
We have
who
10
cares?
people. We have
That's
10
true.
people.
It's, we're swarming. Are we swarming, Kyle?
Yes.
Yes, we're swarming. So
So I was in New York for like 10 days.
10 days because you were on hiatus.
Yeah, and it was pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Did it all work out? Did you get your mojo back?
I got my mojo back, and
You actually seem well rested for someone who didn't sleep at all. Like,
Yeah.
like you just seem calmer than you'd have
I
in the
feel
last couple of
I feel like
episodes.
reconnected with my comic self.
Excellent.
And I got some work done on some jokes, and then found flaws in other ones. And,
the journey
whole
continues.
process,
Yeah.
Like I just realized last night, I like this one joke that used to work all the time. I put it in a different place in this chunk I'm building about wanting to kill my mother.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's not
That's a good-
working
Oh.
as well as it used to.
Right.
So I thought maybe I should lead off with it. Because sometimes, a lot of times, it's joke placement is the problem.
Yeah.
Don't you find? Like,
Yeah.
that joke works better as a lead off joke, but then in the middle of the pack, it's not going to get the...
Right, it's not gonna get the
It
response.
hits people differently.
Sometimes I'll do a joke, and then if you flip it,
Yeah.
and you start with the back, if I move it backwards.
Yes, the thing about this chunk I have about my kid teaching him
Yes,
Spanish.
yes.
Now it ends on a joke, the part that I used to open with the puta.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's a much stronger laugh.
Yeah.
Like that laugh is a thank you, good night, and then Conan
Right, and
walks
then-
over and says thanks for doing the show. And before it was
Right.
an okay laugh. It takes a while you might have all your jokes, but now you have to assemble them in the right order and get them, accelerating at a certain pace. And that
Right.
takes some time too,
Yeah, I did. So I did Vitello's Wendy Liebman show
Mm-hmm.
about a week and a half ago, or a week ago, whatever it was. And Wendy Liebman continues to astonish and
Yeah.
and impress, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. But it was all.
Did she do a set? Or she hosted
She
it, right?
hosted, so
Yeah.
she did like 10 up front, and then she did like 2 in the middle.
Yeah.
and then she would do like 1 or 2 jokes in between people.
I
So-
used
and her
to love
jokes are so
hosting like
short.
that. Little tweeners.
Yeah.
Like I would just take out a joke, trot
Yeah.
it out, and then bring up the next comic.
Because
Yeah.
whatever somebody talked about, you're like, oh, I have a
Yes.
short bit about that.
I've been in the business 80 years. I've got a joke about that.
Right, I think the human experience is comparable.
Hold
amongst
on, let
all
me
of us.
show you up. Let me show you what that topic should be addressed as in joke form. Newbie.
Except for there were no newbies.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the dinosaurs of stand-up comedy. It was crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that's not
I'm sure they'll
entirely-
all appreciate. Please list these dinosaurs.
Steve Young, Beth Sherman, neither of whom are the dinosaurs of stand-up
No,
comedy. They're both considerably younger than I am. So they were the Ute.
Yeah.
And they're probably 30s.
Yeah.
Or early 30s. And then it was me and Jimmy Schubert and John Campanera.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
And Carol Leifer.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
cool.
Yeah. And
She's doing sets I'm headlining at Flappers, and she's going to be doing
wow.
like little sets on all my shows.
May 6th and 7th, main
Yes.
room, over there at the Flaps in Burbank.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal that Carol Leifer is doing stand up.
Yeah.
I mean, she was sort of almost like out of our league before we even started.
Totally. Totally.
It's kind of
she
cool.
she was one of the first headliners that
Yeah.
I had heard of.
Yeah,
when
she
I
was
started.
doing Letterman like late night. You
Yeah.
know, very early.
Yeah, and when I met her, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
It was kind of wild.
Yeah.
And she was great. And then Jimmy Brogan,
Yeah.
and Jimmy Brogan, who, by the way, could not be a nicer man,
Yeah.
and has more
Very
than
nice
once
guy,
in
yes.
my career,
Yeah.
unsolicited,
Oh no.
given me advice.
You texted me and you said somebody gave you advice and you made me guess and I couldn't guess.
You couldn't guess. Well, it's hard to guess when there's tens of thousands of stand-up comics
true.
and everyone's 100.
Yeah.
So it's impossible. And the thing about Jimmy
What
Brogan...
was the advice?
Well, remember when we walked downstairs and that banana head gave us advice?
Yes,
That guy?
downstairs here.
Yeah,
Right,
downstairs
right.
at the Meltdown. That it's entirely different when a guy of Jimmy Brogan's caliber
Right.
gives you advice.
Yes, right.
So
'Cause
I-
he used to book The Tonight Show
Used to
with
book
Leno.
with Leno
Yes, and
for
he
20
himself
years.
is a great comic.
And he does the road and has done the road and has been doing stand-up comedy for 30 years,
Yeah.
right? As well, or probably 40.
Yeah.
And
We're at 30, so
yeah,
he's got to
he's got to be at 40,
We're
right?
at 35.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, I count the 80s as 1 year. Wouldn't that be 27? Wouldn't that be?
I agree.
Seems about right. And but the advice was, he said, but he actually opened it with, I know this is none of my business.
Oh, no.
But I have to give you this advice. And I was like, do you have to, Jimmy? And he goes, I do. And I was like, well then, I will hear it, my friend. I will hear
All
it.
right.
And then what he said was that I talk too fast and I don't wait for the people to get the punchlines. I do punchlines on top of each other. And I was like, oh yeah, my dad says that to me all the time. And Andy Ashcraft, by the way, my fella,
Yeah.
said, did you stop right there? Because that's the best response. My dad said that to me. And I said, no, because then Jimmy said, no, I don't mean that you talk too fast. And then he proceeded to tell me that I talk too fast. And he meant
Yeah.
I talk too fast. And
Yeah.
and I tried to explain to him that when I am given 20 minutes,
Yeah.
I have 30 minutes of material that I wish to do.
Yeah.
People have the rest of their lives to laugh at this shit. I have 20 minutes to get all the jokes I need to work
Yes.
on out of my joke hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your style.
That's my style, you guys.
You talk fast.
Can't go changing. Can't go changing. I was at Moon Tower this weekend, and Greg Barrett hosted this thing, unfortunately called Shebang.
Yeah.
And
It's got to be called something to let people know that there's ladies
the
performing.
first year of Moon Tower, I hosted something called Sausage Fest.
Yes.
And I believe it was Ian Abramson hosted Shebang.
Okay.
And then they got rid of Sausage Fest the next year and have never
Because
had
it's
it.
redundant, the show.
That's what I believe is the obvious joke of that. And but so Greg
I'm
Barrett,
getting the obvious jokes out right now.
well, because it's so, but it's like, because clearly, yes, the rest of the festival, but there
Yeah.
were, and the comic of the week.
But tell your story. We'll get to that.
Yeah, but Greg
You
got
don't,
up
have
and
to,
he said,
you don't have to shove 30 minutes in 20 right now.
"Okay, we can slow down."
Yeah.
All right.
So what happened with Greg?
Greg got up and he said, "You know what you're about to see is a lot of headliners do 10 minutes and tried to jam 40 minutes of material into 10 minutes because it
Yeah.
was Janine, Maria,
Yeah.
me, Jenny Zagrino, Joe Firestone."
I don't know Joe Firestone, I don't think.
Why would I forget? Oh, the two dope queens.
Phoebe Robinson.
Phoebe Robinson,
Jessica Williams?
and Jessica Williams.
Okay.
They went up, and then Maggie
Together they did
Yeah,
a
they
podcast?
did a duo.
Oh,
they
they
just did a riff.
duo stand-up?
Duo stand-up.
Oh.
Because you know they have that show in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they host it
Oh,
together.
okay,
So
okay.
they're used to riffing, I guess.
Okay.
And then Maggie, whose last name?
May?
Maybe. Black.
Maggie
really
May
funny.
from
Yeah,
Austin?
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's from Austin, yes. Who I went and played laser tag with yesterday.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Who won?
Oh, my God. Ron Funches. Why wouldn't he?
Oh, Ron Funches.
He hunted me like
of course
an animal.
he would win an athletic event.
Well, he
That's
won
the first thing I
laser
think of.
tag. He killed me 9 times. And Joe DeRosa, we all had to come up with code names.
Yeah.
And Joe DeRosa's code name was Andy Kindler because Andy Kindler played as well. It was me, Andy Kindler, Joe DeRosa, and it was Ron Funch's son's
Man,
birthday.
festivals are so fun. You
it's
get to
comedy.
do stupid shit like that.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
It was so fun. And I'd only done laser tag. I'm aged out of laser tag. So I've only played laser tag one other time. And I was like, why am I not playing laser tag every weekend?
Every time I go to laser, I haven't gone in a long time. I go with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only ones in the whole place. There's like some place in Glendale that no one's ever in. And
Well, I think it's over everywhere but on the outskirts of Austin, Texas, because it was
Oh.
packed. There were like 50 kids.
can I tell you something?
Yeah.
This is off of the Jimmy Brogan thing. Is a long time ago, I was doing a set at the comic strip, and David Feldman told me afterwards, he goes, no, this is great advice.
Oh, good.
It really helped me because I was kind of shouting a lot. I guess shouting.
Oh, okay.
And he just said if you modulate your voice and talk a little bit lower,
Oh, interesting.
they're going to be leaning in a little bit. So I started playing with that because he does that. His
Yeah.
voice is very low and quiet.
Yeah.
Even though he can project. And that actually helped me.
Right.
But
That's great.
I didn't feel like I was being talked down to or anything like that. I think he was just giving me a thing like, like a tweak from being on the road for a long time.
Right. And I think that when you give other comics advice,
Yeah.
you have to start it the way Jimmy Brogan did,
Yeah.
which is the perfect way to start it. It's none of my business. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, right.
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
And then you take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And because I don't ever give advice.
Yeah.
Unless I'm asked for advice. And then I just
Then you can't stop.
I can't stop.
And it's 30 minutes of advice in 20 minutes.
You're correct. Bossy Magoo. Just put it. So
Well, that's... Moon
how
Tower
were the
sounds-
rest? There was a dozen days, and I almost bought Hamilton tickets. By the way, when you were in New York,
Wow.
$1,500.
Wow.
They
Well,
were $200
I
regular.
spent $300 on Shen Yun tickets.
So that the two of you could nap. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yes.
But was it somewhat beautiful?
It was really pretty.
Yeah.
Well, when we walked in, there was
You're like,
a
we're
ton
getting some culture.
of older Asian people going. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is not
Authentico.
acrobats. This
Yeah.
is
This is Authentico.
cultural.
Yes.
And I was worried, and I was right. It was still good, but it wasn't something I'd rather see on a full night's sleep.
Right.
With, somebody who's not 9.
Right. There, exactly. Someone,
Yeah.
Right. And then you'll go see the Maplethorpes over
Yeah.
at the Getty. And
Yes.
Yeah, spend a day of it. Doing,
Yeah, so I had I had sets every night in New
Yeah.
York and stuff, and then I had a couple meetings. I had
Oh, good.
meetings about my special, and then a meeting about a potential book that I want to write.
Excellent.
So the meeting with the publisher goes really well. They're like, yeah, send us this X, Y, and Z easy things for me to fulfill. And I leave, and then I do like 3 straight days of cleaning. And I'm thinking, "Fuck, why aren't I writing this shit? She asked for it. Why is wrong with
that
me?"
is a
And
classic.
I'm still right there. Part of me is like, okay, after this, I'll be all wound up from this podcast, and then I'll do a little bit of writing.
wow. Were you listening to podcasts?
No.
Is that what- you were just, this. Maybe
No,
tonight.
tonight's podcast. Yeah,
Tonight's podcast.
It's like, I would consider this like a set in that I leave with my brain activated, and then I can't sleep.
Yeah. Like I talked to somebody on the way here and I said I'm going to do a show because I consider this a show. It's not, I mean, I don't get
It's
to
a
work
bringer show because only comics are listening.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Lori Kilmartin.
Thank you.
Okay. That's so great. So I've been doing, I went to Moon Tower, but before that I've just been doing LA sets, and I did a set
Yeah.
in Malibu. I did that weird,
yeah.
that weird show in Malibu where there were
It's like a
5
little theater, right?
Yeah, a little theater
Yeah.
where I don't know, 200 people who you would think that they would go to see chamber music,
Yeah.
but they're going to see stand-up comedy. And all the young comics who went up before me were talking about how rich everybody was.
In the audience?
Yeah, in the audience. And
I got the feeling they never left Malibu, these people. Like, they're waiting for comedy to come to them. They've never seen stand-up comedy because they'd have to leave a canyon.
Well, that's what I said to I said to them. I was like, you are clearly not really rich because rich people never go out to see stand-up comedy. We are brought to them. You know,
yeah.
on the backs of elephants or whatever, right? I mean, there's never any reason for the fabulously wealthy to go see stand-up comedy. They just clap their hands and go, "I'd like to see Robin Williams, please." And you're like, "He's dead," and you're like, "That will not do. Resurrect him."
Yeah. They go in San Francisco and in New York, and they're not the best audience.
Can't imagine.
Unsurprisingly.
Where are they going in New York? What
go everywhere. They
What
gotta-
rooms am I avoiding? The 1%. I don't necessarily want to do the 1%.
Maybe the 10.
Well, because these people in Malibu, I was like, you guys aren't the 1%. You're the 3%. I'd
Yeah.
go, you guys are the 3%. And so they are. I mean,
Yeah.
they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
But there
That's
was a
not
kid
a slam.
No, there was a kid in the front row who didn't have any shoes on.
Oh.
Like a 19-year-old. Who
But
had
he's
gone
not
to
homeless.
the theater.
Right, yeah.
No, yeah, he had
That
come to the theater for a $25 stand-up comedy ticket in no shoes.
Wow.
So it was dumb.
I'm impressed that they can charge, like, people will pay $25 to
I think
see
it was
comedy,
$25.
Whereas, if you go to Eagle Rock, you have to give people a beer.
Come and see it. There's going to be Tecate, you guys. Make it happen. And I'm doing Echo Park and I'm doing Akbar tomorrow night. Have you ever done Akbar? Bruce
Yes,
Daniels?
I haven't done that in a long time, but I like
So I'm doing
it.
that on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I'm doing the Comedy Store and also Kate Willette's show at Echo Park. She just
cool.
moved down from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And is
I just did one of her shows.
Party in the
They're
Back.
great. Yes,
Did you do
it's,
Party in the
it's
Back?
a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
That's what I'm doing on
It's
Wednesday.
cool.
And then I'm doing a late night at the store. And
Is the store like a store spot?
No. Why would it be? I think it's in the... that guy Adam is unmoved by me, and that's fine. Because the thing is if you
It's
are not,
you're on a produced show.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. It's still a spot at the store, but
Yeah.
you know,
which means I have to find my
like
own
you
parking.
know, like
Yeah.
we know, we still can be resentful.
I could be resentful.
Yeah.
I could.
Because Tammy Jo Deeren books great shows on Saturdays
those
at the
rooms.
stores
Yep.
and filled it. So you can say I'm at the store on Saturday,
Right.
But in your head, you're like
I'm not really.
I am. You are really, but the guy that books the store isn't booking me.
Right, it's unmoved.
Yes.
But here's what I have to say about people that are unmoved about me. That's fine. Don't tag me. Don't let me know
Oh
that
my
you're not into
God!
me.
Here we go. Let's get
Oh,
this guy.
yeah, 'cause here's
this
the thing.
motherfucker.
This fucking
Okay,
idiot.
explain it.
Okay, so at Moon Tower,
Right.
I and Aaron Foley opened for Maria.
Right.
At the Paramount, a room, by the way, that seats 1,250.
Wow.
And it was 1,000 people in it.
Fuck.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
So there was a review the next day, the Austin Chronicle, some tiny haircut
Yes.
of a fuck, and he didn't like the show. He talked about how he was upset about Prince during the review of the comedy show.
Right.
Just to let us all know.
The review I read.
Oh, did you?
Of course I read it. I left a comment too on it.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It comes off as a Tumblr blog. It's like the pronoun I shouldn't be in a review, okay? Because you're reviewing other things. And
Right.
no one gives a shit about you and your fucking feelings.
Right.
And it felt like he didn't like Erin until she said she was gay.
Right.
And then he said, revealed her sexuality. Queer, thank you very much. Thank who? What the fuck? Who's thanking you?
I don't know. He's
What's it have to do with
riffing,
anything?
and it doesn't have anything to
Yeah.
do with. He was trying to be funny. 'Cause
Yes.
He made some.
Yes, trying to be funny.
He was
Please,
the, yes,
leave
he was
it-
the
leave it
critic.
to us.
Leave it to the
Please.
professionals. You dumb shit. He was the dumbest guy in the world. So he didn't like me.
Right.
And genuinely, I was mad about it because it was a sucker punch out of nowhere.
Yes, it was totally unnecessary,
And he
it wasn't
tagged
tied
me.
to anything. And he didn't. It's not like you had some hidden cats versus dogs bit that you trotted out,
Right.
And I'm like, oh well, but the things that he listed, you talked about, weren't things I hear people talking about: misogyny.
Right. It was the tantric sex.
Yes,
Right.
and
Those-
that bit is really original. Like how the
Right.
like. His
Yeah.
evidence proved him wrong.
Right. It proved him wrong.
In not but just my opinion, every working comic I know.
Well, Andy Kindler saw it, and then he lost his shit, and then everybody rallied around me, and I felt very, very beloved, and
Yeah.
it was very lovely. What I genuinely resent is that he made me doubt because he called me a hack.
Yes.
He called me a fucking
Yes.
hack, which made me want to drown him.
Yeah.
like
a kitten.
Yeah, like a kitten that isn't going to make it.
I mean,
so
can I just say,
we love
since
cats.
we started off
Yeah.
with dog fucking being the low, I've never drowned a cat, and that's not the story.
that was the story. I don't know if you guys know this,
I
but
stuck
Lauren
it
Kit
in.
Martin.
Drowns kittens. It's
And-
relaxing.
But the kittens weren't going to live, and that's why I said it was okay.
yeah, that was
so
appalling.
what I resent is that he made me doubt myself. He
Right.
got me.
Yes.
He got me for a half an hour and a half, where I was just spinning in my head, going, "Well, I guess those things could be hacky. Those things that he quoted me as saying." And he also got the jokes wrong. He even got Maria's jokes wrong, and he called Maria's new hour that it was just okay and that it was loony, and you were like, okay, you can fuck yourself.
How is loony an adjective that a critic uses? It doesn't describe anything. You
Yeah, he's
can't.
out of his goddamn mind.
He's a really bad
my
writer,
language.
and he doesn't.
He was a really bad writer.
He's
it's
a
true.
bad writer, and he doesn't know what stand up is, and
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't know what hack is.
Get this. I got an email. I got a message from Rhea Butcher. He reviewed her and Cameron Esposito poorly as well and called them hacks as well. So he
don't
might
know.
have an issue
with
with the ladies.
women.
He might have,
Because
he
I was
might not
thinking-
enjoy the ladies, you guys. Though I guess the Austin Chronicle, somebody from Austin, one of the local comics,
Yeah.
tweeted at me and said there was another reviewer from the Austin Chronicle who opened the review of a show at Cap City with the MC opened with his own material. So the Austin Chronicle may not understand stand-up comedy.
What the fuck?
I hope he did. I hope the guy opened with his
Oh,
own
my
material.
God.
Because if he was doing Stephen Wright's material, that's going to be disappointing for Stephen Wright.
It's still even though you know it's bullshit, it still sucks when you see it written.
Right.
You know?
Right. And why would he tag me and Aaron?
I don't know.
And Maria, of course, didn't read it. And Maria
She
just
doesn't
has-
read anything like
She doesn't
that?
read reviews and she
Yeah.
doesn't read Yelp, YouTube comments.
Yeah.
She's gotten sucked into it a couple of times, like
Yeah.
people do, because she's
Yeah.
human. And but recently she's like, I'm on a pretty good run of not reading whatever the fuck people are saying.
Yeah.
Especially with Lady Dynamite coming out May 20th, you guys. Late May 20th, Netflix.
Yay.
Yay. It's going to be great. Hey, what about Jenny?
Wait, I thought it was Amazon.
No, it's Netflix.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Oh, cool.
like 12 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so Jenny Zagrino is our comic
Jenny
of the week.
Zagrino, who I had not seen until Shebang.
Did I tell you the story already?
I think. Yeah, tell me again.
Well, I don't want to repeat it.
Why
Where
not?
She's already
It's a
done
podcast.
Conan,
Yeah.
and I remember watching it and going, "Oh, she's really funny." And then I saw her at a bar, and I didn't.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
I didn't remember she had done Conan. And
Yeah,
I'm
and you're like, she should do Conan.
Have you sent a tape to JP? Because he would like you.
Right.
Yeah, I did it already. Oh.
Well, good.
And I saw it. That's the thing. I can't be like, oh, I was working on a sketch. I saw it and I liked it. I don't know
Right.
what happened to my head.
Were you a big Prince fan? By any chance?
Yeah, he was.
Did you ever get to see him? Or
No, I didn't get to see him, but I didn't go to concerts because I was afraid of going to concerts, and I was mentally insane for a long time. I was a swimmer, so I was like, I can't deviate; it'll hurt my workout the next morning. I never had
Oh, so
fun.
you never
I
stayed up
didn't
late?
let myself have fun.
okay.
Yes, I didn't have a childhood.
Right.
Right.
That is the worst. Well, you should go see a lot of music now.
Well-
but where it's seated.
I need. Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't go now because unless I can do a spot. If I could do a spot at a Prince.
I don't even.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw Elvis Costello 2 weeks ago, and I genuinely
Wow.
thought there's a good spot for a stand-up. I mean,
Oh my God, he's playing a place that small. That's amazing.
It was like a 1,200, so it
Wow.
was great. 12,
Wow.
1,500, and it was full.
I should. I went with Felicia Michaels to see Lucinda Williams a long time ago. It was
Oh, wow.
really good. Yeah. So I just don't. It's because I didn't do it as a youth and as a teenager. It's just not a habit that I'm
Right.
into, or I'm used to. But so I know I never saw him. But oh my God, as a Catholic girl, Irish Catholic girl,
In
you
San
know,
Francisco?
in the 80s,
In the 80s?
in the East Bay, Prince was eye opening and jaw dropping,
Okay.
and shocking, and we loved him. Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I was in Minneapolis for 7 years and never saw him at First Avenue.
Wow.
Never did.
What's First Avenue? Is that the
That's-
record store? or-
No, it's the club where he started. And so
okay.
it's I've been to First Avenue. That's where I saw Billy Bragg and I registered to vote. So yeah, I
He's
know how to
hot.
party, you guys. I know how to party. I know how to go see live music. At a Billy Bragg concert. That's where I like to. I saw Tori Amos sing about her rape at a jazz club over on First Avenue. So I went and saw some live music,
Yeah.
but not a lot. I'm not good at music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now when I go out, I just want it to be for a spot.
Yeah.
Mostly. And I don't have a
Right.
date, you know?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a 9-year-old that falls asleep at fucking music events, so it's
Right.
no fun.
I don't know that I wouldn't crucify him for falling asleep at the Chinese authentic ancient Chinese music event.
Do you think though? I haven't seen Lemonade yet, or
No,
heard
me
it
neither.
Yet. But
It looks amazing,
But
the
I was
Beyonce
on
thing.
when it exploded on Twitter. I was between sets at Stand Up New York, so I became incredibly obsessed
Awesome.
with the hashtag.
Sure.
Which first started off as Lemondade. Like it was
Why?
misspelled. I don't know, but I was like, why is she calling it Lemondade? That's so weird. And then I thought it had some hidden meaning. I was good. Oh, I'll figure it out. And then it turned out to be Lemonade. But and it's
But
pretty obvious
It had
why
been
she's calling
misspelled.
it.
it had been misspelled so much that it became a trending.
Yes, it did.
Oh
The
my
first
God.
couple, the first few
And
minutes.
why did they? All I know is that's the name of it. I haven't followed the rabbit hole to
well,
figure
it
out.
follows, according to Twitter.
Okay.
It starts with
I love a source.
her fury at being cheated on, which sign me up. I'm in.
Oh, I
then
am beside myself to cheat on Beyonce. Who the fuck are you?
yeah, just to and having been cheated on, like I get that rage.
Yeah.
And I guess it ends in reconciliation, which that's where I'd have to step away.
Forgiveness.
Yes, but
It's quiet uptown.
And you mentioning Tori Amos talking about rape. Do you feel like in music, it kind of mirrors what's happening in stand-up comedy with women too, where women are the ones talking about
All these big things.
a lot of these really powerful feelings now. I don't know that guys are as much, or maybe I'm just not. I don't have any examples that come to mind at the top of my head right now. You know, I think obviously Richard Pryor did, but
Right. But and the
are
thing
there-
is to ask me if current musical tropes, male or female, are discussing. Sadly, I'm learning about a guy named Weekend right now. He's from 3 years ago, so we might want to take into account that Jackie does not know about music.
True.
But,
But just in general,
in general,
it may
I was
be-
listening to some Prince today.
Yes.
and some of the lyrics were so amazing.
Yeah.
Allow me to make a sweeping statement, you guys. That guy
Go.
was really talented. I don't know if you guys know this. I was so glad he had a chance to make an album or two.
I think he made 39 albums.
Did he make 39 albums?
What? Like, I'm never gonna have that kind of. I guess when I was like 25, I thought I could have that kind of legacy somehow,
Well, I think-
comedically. But there's no way now. I mean,
If you put out an album every year?
not that I would want to have 39, or
Right.
that's possible, but that kind of influence or
Oh,
be
okay.
that good at what I'm doing. Like, I don't know that. He's
Well, yeah.
an actual genius, and he's probably started from a place of genius and then took it up.
Well, the weird thing is, I read a very powerful article
Mm-hmm.
about how he started in 73, and so by 84, he had already done the album that has Little Red Corvette in
Yeah.
1999 on it, and Purple Rain, the movie and the album. So in 10 years,
Wow.
he had gone to superstardom.
Yeah.
And then he spent, clearly the following 30 years of things
There's-
are going on downstairs.
It's
Harmontown.
raucous downstairs. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, in comedy, you have Louis
Yep.
C.K., who's kind of pushing.
He's kind of that guy.
in crazy directions, and declare. I guess
Yeah,
he's bankrupt from
he
Horace
didn't.
and
He
Pete.
said he just lost a bunch of money, but he's going to keep putting them out. Which
No.
I thought was
I
gutsy.
thought he did. Is that new?
You
Is
sent
that
me that
brand
article.
new?
No, you sent me the article.
No,
and
he's
it didn't
not.
Say,
As far as I know, he's not doing another season.
that must.
Yeah.
He's not.
He's not.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he also didn't go bankrupt.
Not personally bankrupt, like business bankrupt.
He made
Trump bankrupt.
He made like a joke on the radio, and
Oh.
a bunch of websites
Picked it up.
Fucking
Okay.
websites.
So, but he's not going to do another season of Horace and Pete, the Sad Sack
Yeah.
web series that he did, and devastating. Anyway,
I didn't download it.
I've seen clips of it. That's
Yeah.
all I've seen. So I like to judge things with just a small amount of it. I think that's been established.
I love it.
I think it's been established on
It
this
has been
program
established
that I will just judge
that
things.
you need as little information as possible to make a
That's
sweeping
it.
judgment.
Ask
Oh
me
my
what I
God.
think about Hillary. Let's do this. I don't have enough information. I like her. Let's do it.
Well, yeah, I got to see it. It's
Yeah.
that's another. It's like
There's too
another
many things
thing
to
I
see.
gotta fucking see. Yeah. Like
I saw Tank Girl from 1995.
you're just now.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
now because I just read the comics.
Yeah.
and I liked the comics. And then it's Lori Petty and Naomi Watts
Watts,
and
yeah.
Malcolm McDowell and Ice-T, and they used all of the budget for the tanks and the airplane. And then Ice-T is in a rabbit costume that I could make, and or a kangaroo costume. Yeah, kangaroo costume. And what I thought was fascinating about it, and this is an interesting from a superhero kind of point of view, is that there's, in action movies, like Indiana Jones will get the shit beat out of him,
Yeah.
right? And then he'll quip and he'll make comments and he'll be like, "You're not hurting me," kind of thing, right? And that's all action movies.
Yeah.
Tank Girl, these women are captives, and they've clearly been raped. They've clearly been sexually assaulted, and they are being creeped on in the scenes that we see.
Right.
Right? And they are quippy like it's an action figure. Because obviously, rape is a violent crime. It's
Yes.
not a sexual crime.
Right.
He's murdering you with his penis.
Yes.
But he is not it's not a sexual crime. It's
Right.
it's a violent crime. So these women are being attacked, and then Lori Petty is just like, well, hey, tiny dick, I don't give a shit. Hit me again, with your penis. Essentially, is what she's saying. And
Yeah.
that was my my favorite. It was that was the most interesting part of Tank Girl for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's never that response. It's always a woman cowering in a corner with
Yes.
makeup going down her face.
Right, and then getting revenge on like some sort of like a Dirty Harry movie is the only way it can be. The women get the power back.
Yeah.
Is if they take a gun and then shoot the guy in the crotch, and then it's over. But I said crotch.
Yeah.
That's weird. Since I've been
Do you-
swearing like a sailor for the
Yes.
last half an hour.
You're oddly modest at unexpected times.
Well, sometimes I remember that I'm a lady.
Do you think, though, like right now, I would say there's not a female version of Louis C.K., right?
Bamford?
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
But is it
And
well, I mean,
what about
he's
Amy?
a filmmaker.
Schumer.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of great women comics. And Nikki Glaser has that new thing.
Yeah. No, I just mean in that sort of,
Oh, and that
I would-
Prince kind of thing.
yeah, like I guess Maria's more that where she's sort of just exploring weird territory to see where it goes.
Right.
And not knowing if it's going to be successful or not, you know?
Yes. So she's the experimental
Yes.
version of stand-up comedy as a woman.
Right. And do you
I don't know that Louis C.K. is that.
I don't know if he is either. I mean, he is following some raw sort of urge inside whatever he's doing with Horace and Pete and Louis and all
well,
that.
and I think the way Louis, in my opinion, the way Louis C.K. writes is amazing. Because
Yeah.
I've never seen the writing from such a place of empathy
yes, yeah.
that he can genuinely walk in somebody else's shoes in his mind.
It does drive me nuts, though, and this isn't his fault, that when he talks about something feminist, it's like, okay, but if a female comic does it, it sounds harpy, you know?
Oh,
And
well, that's because
it's-
we're shrill. It's so hard when we're so shrill.
But the audience needs to have it delivered to them by a white male before they
Yes.
can ever come around and go, yeah,
well,
that
it's
is-
why male
yeah.
feminists are so important. Because
Yes,
we
it's
have
true.
been because
Yeah.
we've always gotten all of our opinions from men. So when men stand up for
when
women,
a male voice is doing it.
it
Yeah.
helps. It does help. It's not ideal.
Yeah.
But and you it's like the Black Lives Matter kind of thing.
Yeah.
When those protests where they're about injustices against black people and
Yeah.
then white people show up.
Yeah. And when Gwyneth Paltrow is on your side, you know you're winning.
There might be. I think I saw an article today that said, "Is she gone completely mad?" And then the response was, "Yes." Is she wrong about everything? And I didn't read it. I read the article.
Seems so tone deaf.
You're right. Oh, I saw the weirdest thing about PayPal because okay. So I was going to tell you this.
Right.
Is that PayPal did a panel at some sort of gathering, some sort of convention, right? And it was called Gender Equality and Inclusion in the Workplace.
Okay.
Gender Equality and Inclusion in the Workplace panel. Please join us for a discussion with our senior male leaders, Edwin
Wow.
Aoki, Sri Shivananda.
Was that at Moon Tower?
It was not. This was at a PayPal. This was
Okay.
like a convention-y kind of thing.
Okay.
And it was like 7 moderated by a
It's
guy.
gender diversity, or
And it
it's
was about gender-
racial diversity.
Gender equality and inclusion. Speaking of 6 guys talking about feminism,
Wow.
which we just said is important,
Yes.
but you might want to go 3 and 3.
Yeah. Oh
And-
my God,
and-
that's so funny. Okay, I was at one of the, when I was working last week in New York, one of the tables. You're at the comics table. There's
Yeah.
comics tables, clubs have comics tables.
Yeah.
So I'm at a comics table, and it's me and 3 guys, and 3 young male comics.
Uh-oh.
And
Trying to be supportive.
Uh-oh is right.
Uh-oh is
So
right.
they're talking about it's Prince had died earlier that day, and they're going to go. They might go to Spike Lee. Spike Lee was having like an all-night party, and somebody else was, and Questlove too,
Okay.
in Brooklyn. Right.
Oh, wow.
And they were going to go, and then they were discussing the women that they plan to make sweet love to, that they hadn't met yet, but they were already angry about certain physical attributes they were convinced that these women would have, and it was just like I was just listening. And I didn't feel it wasn't like an over the top conversation that I was invited to join in. It was an actual complaint about women and their potential smells. Okay. And
Stinky Magoos. They were worried about stinkies. Okay.
But so
interesting.
I was just sort of like that's when I felt really alone and like
yes,
not part of this generation of comedy.
We're not part of that group for sure.
Exactly.
It's
but then the next, like 2 nights later, same table, and one of the guys from the original conversation
was he back?
And then Ada Rodriguez was there. It was me, Ada. She's a comic.
Oh, right.
She's really funny.
Okay.
And she goes to New York like once a month, I think.
Oh, nice.
And then 2 other women were at the table that weren't. They were audience members that had seen the show. And then we started talking about the same thing. And then the tone of the conversation was so different.
Yeah.
And it.
Were you talking about Stinky Magoo dudes?
Yeah. I pointed out. I said, "Well, I go. Did you actually go to this party? And did you fuck all these women like you were promised to?" Didn't go to the party. He decided to celebrate Prince at home. So it turns out it was just a bunch of fucking bullshit again.
Right.
But, you know.
Well, I mean, you got to run it up the flagpole. That's a dick joke.
You did.
And,
but man, the tone is so different when there's parody, when there's gender parody.
Yes.
You know,
it doesn't
at a table or any place. You know, or on a stage, you know, if you're in the audience and you're just hearing guy comics over and over again.
You know what I wish? I wish guys would write more bits about how women are wearing bodysuits, and then when you get them off of them, they're like twice as big as you thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago. There were like 13 road dudes who, one after another, that opened for me.
Wow.
With the whole Spanx thing.
Yeah.
There was a run
I like
on
how
Spanx
you're like
material.
Spanx, like you have no idea what it is, where I'm like, oh yeah, Spanx.
Oh no,
I do know.
I'm wearing
Are you wearing
Spanx.
them right now?
Probably.
To the podcast. I don't care.
I bring it up a notch. I don't know about you guys.
I got rules. I only Spanx on Saturday shows.
You know, one week I was in Vegas, and it was Catch a Rising Star when what's his face was booking it in Vegas. It's gone now.
Kevin Kearney?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was. Is that right, Kearney?
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think he liked me, but he never booked me.
And he only booked me in a feature, but whatever. But I would go, and it was like a Monday to Sunday. It was like all the nights, and it was a million shows.
Right.
And so you know how you dress better as the weekend comes?
Sure.
And then by Saturday, you're wearing your nicest ghetto outfit.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a comic, I have one decent outfit that I
Yeah.
save for Saturday night. And I have a second best outfit that I wear on Friday night. So on Friday, somebody made some crack, like a waitstaff or one of the other comics made some crack about how I looked better than I had on Tuesday and Wednesday. And Kevin goes, that's because she's a professional comic. And she knows that you get dressed up better as the weekend comes. And I was like, oh, yes.
You didn't even know that about yourself.
I did not know that.
Kevin Kearney gave you an insight into yourself.
I'm constantly being told that I'm halfway decent as a person, as a comic. It's beautiful. And because we were talking about music, I was going
Right.
to tell you I just had Moon Zappa on the Dork Forest.
Wow.
And you know Moon, right?
Yeah. I know who she is. I don't know her.
Oh, yeah, from Uncabaret. She does Uncabaret sometimes.
I haven't
not
done
clearly with
Uncabaret
you.
when she's on it.
Oh yeah. So not with. Okay, so yeah, I had Diva on a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then
Who's Diva?
Diva Zappa is the youngest Zappa that nobody knows about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her dorkdom, knitting. And as a Zappa response, because I asked Diva, because she was my first knitting dork, I said, so what happens if you drop a stitch? Do you have to undo it and redo it? Because it's the Dork Forest. And she goes, I feel like if there's an error in the hat, that error was meant to be there. I was like, well played, Zappa child. And so Moon was on, and I was like, what do you want to talk about, Moon? And she goes, well, I hate yoga. And I was like, no, that's not what the Dork Forest. You can't come on and talk about what you hate. You can talk about something you love. Like you talked about the Kennedys.
Yeah.
And she ended up talking about self-help and how she's going through this new version of self-help and all this stuff. Yeah. I can't remember what it is because I'm perfect. It's all working out. And but my favorite story was something about how in her 20s and 30s, people kept taking her out to lunch to tell her that they had slept with her dad. And then it faded off. Yeah. It stopped, and she was like, well, I can deal with this in therapy. And she's probably a little bit younger than we are, or the same age, I don't know. But she said there's been a new wave of people taking her out to lunch to tell her that they've slept with her dad.
Oh, my God.
And she's like, I didn't expect it, so I went to lunch with these people.
How do they frame the lunch? I mean, usually it's like, can I pick your brain?
Right, can I pick your brain? Which is don't ever say that. There has to be another.
Can I drop some unnecessary information into your brain?
Can I buy you lunch and ask you
dad.
some questions? And by the way, one woman, it's the fan lady who was the super fan that wrote books. They wrote books about her.
Oh, Pamela DeBar?
Yeah, Pamela DeBar took her to lunch to say that she had not fucked her dad. But the reason is because she wanted to sleep with her mom. And she was like, well, now you've ruined that relationship as well. I got to find a new therapist.
She needs to skip lunches.
Right. She's got to vet her lunches a little bit.
Just be a breakfast and dinner kind of gal.
Right.
Have a big breakfast. You don't need a lunch.
You don't need a lunch. It turns out just one big meal a day. But she was the whole music thing. I'm surprised that those guys didn't go into music because Frank Zappa was like, he's one of those genius guys, right? Because I never listened.
Zappa's a musician, right?
Oh, I bet he is.
No,
that
he is.
Sounds
he
right.
is. It's not I bet he is. He is.
That sounds familiar. What does he play? Trumpet?
I don't know, but this is a heartbreaking segment for the entire Zappa family. And I'd rather put in the story that would shame my career than...
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking segment for the Zappa family. Holy shit.
So I was like, the other thing that happens a lot in New York clubs is someone does a check spot.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like in a normal, like a road room, it's the headliner who
Right.
you do 30 minutes where you have the audience listening and then the waitresses drop the checks. The
And then you do
staff
15
drops the
minutes
check.
where you jump up and down.
At least 10 minutes where people are just not paying attention.
Right.
And then you have to try and get them back and end close well and then sell your merch. Right? You got to,
Yep.
okay. So,
yeah, what's the check? I've never done enough New York spots to do that check spot.
they give it to an up and comer who, if they are not completely traumatized by the end of the year, will go on to become
The greatest comic
yes.
in the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's horrendous. Like they just, they'll have, if there's 4 comics doing 15 minutes, then they have the one person that's doing the checks.
newest.
Yeah. The newest or the least.
The poor bastard is what you're telling me. Aw.
Yes. Yeah. So I just saw a lot of that and I just had empathy.
Right. It was heartbreaking. Did somebody
Yeah.
rise to the occasion? Do they all kind of do okay? Or
They did okay. I think it teaches you to work on your personality because they're not paying attention to material. So it kind of, kind of get to work on your persona.
Yeah, it's a different
bit.
angle.
It's a different muscle. It has some value, but not long term.
Yep.
But there was somebody I saw and I didn't say anything because I didn't run into him again.
Okay.
But your Broken Story reminded, because he had a great setup.
Yeah.
That was unexpected from a guy and full of empathy for women. And his
Mm-hmm.
punchline was really easy. And I'm like, if you can come up with that setup,
Yeah.
I know you can come up with a better punchline.
Yeah.
And women will go bananas for you because they don't expect it from you.
Right.
But I
Well,
didn't tell him.
Graham Elwood was telling me about a year ago that he was working on this whole thing about how he looks like a haircut. Like he looks like a broy dude.
Yeah,
But all he
does,
wants
yeah.
to do is do yoga and eat vegan. And
Yeah.
and he's like, I want to do that material, but I tend to lose the audience. And so I really hope he's been working on it for this. I haven't got to see him in months. Didn't you just work with him?
Yeah, but I don't remember if he was doing that.
Right. Maybe because it's when you pick like the big topics,
Yeah.
I did a set. So I did 4 sets in Moontower.
Right.
So I did a 15-minute set before Maria, and then Erin did 15, and then she did 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
And then, that reviewer, by the way, said there were 500 people in that theater.
And there are 1,000.
Yeah. So he can't even count. Anyway, so,
yeah.
And then I did like an 8-minute set and 2 10-minute sets. And first of all, why would you give Dana Gould 10 minutes? Please don't give Dana Gould 10 minutes. Please give Dana Gould 22 minutes.
Yes.
And let him do 25.
Yeah.
And, but he had a great Kennedy joke. Have you heard his
Oh
Kennedy
my God,
joke?
his Kennedy joke's brilliant.
Yeah. You gotta see Dana Gould.
Yeah.
So, but I tried to do different sets because as I would walk past the line, people were like, "Oh, I saw your set at Maria's.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, I saw your set at Shebang. Oh, I saw your Tinkle Twins. Oh, I'm coming to see Tinkle Twins is Dana's and Arden's show, and then the particular show is Andy's. So, but the fourth set was Andy Kindler's show.
Okay.
And as I'm walking in, they're like, "Oh, I saw all 3 of your sets this week."
No.
Right, and I was working on that tantric bit, so I did
Well,
the
that's the thing. Like, you want to keep working on a bit. You want to you want to tinker with
Yeah.
it and then do it again at the next show
Yep.
and change one line, but
That's
the
it.
other 4 minutes will be the same.
Right,
You know, and
right.
that's work.
And that's the
Damn.
job. That's the job. And the crazy thing is so one guy, I did the second set, and a guy tweeted at me. He said, "It was so great to see you do different material, except for that tantric set." And I tweeted back at him. I said, "Well, the tantric set is brand new, and I need to work on it." He goes, "Please work on a short version, and then a long version, and then a short version, and then a long version." Which is what the tantric sex bit is. It's a short stroke, long stroke joke. And I was like, "Well played, sir," on the Twitter. That was just, it was a great.
I am very against discussing my set with the audience.
Well, yes.
Do you know what Jerry Seinfeld and Margaret Cho are doing? Did you read about that?
Remember,
Margaret had a really bad set.
She had a bad
apparently, and
Working
at
on new stuff
at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Which is
a classic road room.
That's a town where you're going to have a bad set. If it's in the cards, it's going to happen at the Stress Factory,
Right.
And so I guess
You could also go to Erie, Pennsylvania.
at JR's.
Probably.
They never worked me.
I worked 1 week there. The show was at like 6:30.
Yeah,
And we walked in, and the door guy said, "Did they tell you can't swear?"
that's
and
why
Maria
they never
said-
worked me.
And Maria said, "Fuck." And I was opening for, and then by the Saturday, she had walked so many people because there were these weird old people who had only seen hardcore Long Island dudes for a decade or two decades. That the guy was fine. A couple owns it, but the wife came up to Maria and actually said to Maria, "Bamford in Erie, Pennsylvania, 2 years," and she's told this story. I'm not speaking out of school, but said to her, we watched your videos. You were so funny in the videos."
Oh fuck!
Yeah. And Maria said, "Well, Jackie's going to close."
Wow.
And so we switched. But I said, "Have you eaten?" And she said, "Malted milk balls." And I said, "They have chicken wings. Let's get you some food." Because she forgets to eat. I never forget to eat.
I know that's a whole nother thing.
But she had a really good time doing 30 in the Sweet Spot, where 7 people had driven like hours to see her. And then the other 100 people were like, "What's happening?"
Hey, I had two guys come all the way up from Queens to
That's
see
right.
me because of the
power
podcast.
of podcasting.
It was so cool. And it was a really good set at stand-up. So
Oh,
I was
that's
happy
great.
about
And
that.
I interrupted your story as per usual.
What was my
So-
story?
What was her story? Kyle, you got anything? It was a great story about
Against talking about to the audience about your set.
talking back to the
Oh,
audience
so
about the
Margaret.
stuff.
So, okay, so
Thank you.
it's not really my story.
Oh, that's right. It's Seinfeld and
Yeah,
the show.
so they're going to they're inviting back everyone who was in that audience, and Margaret's going to take the stage with Jerry, I think, and they're going to analyze what went wrong, which sounds fascinating, and yet I don't want the audience to have this kind of power, and I'm very much against it. I don't want to discuss jokes with the audience. I don't like discussing jokes on Twitter. Like, it's a joke. If you didn't get it, I'm not going to break it down. Every once in a while, I break my rule and just explain what the fuck I just said.
You tweeted a joke, and then a bunch of people lost their minds.
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
"Are you not getting that?"
And I'll go, look, was I unclear in this joke? No, I was clear. Like,
Yeah.
if I missed, if my intent wasn't clear and I did a bad job writing the joke,
Yes.
okay, I'll explain it or something. But if it's if I'm like, no, that's solid, and anyone who knows me understands it, then
Right.
fuck these people.
Right. And a live set to go back and analyze that is giving that audience a great
Oh
deal
my!
of
Now
power.
they're coming to the show with an agenda, which is
Right.
to get on
now
get on
it's-
coffee comedians getting coffee, and to talk to Jerry Seinfeld and to talk to Margaret Cho.
Right. And
don't know.
it's more of an afternoon like Montel Williams kind of shouty
Yes.
thing. It's going to turn
Yeah.
into that. Because I think you're right that it would be a fascinating dialogue for that to watch.
Yeah.
But I don't want any audience. I wouldn't mind them having the discussion. And they did, I guess, on Comedians in Cars.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell
But
that
here's
thing
the
is.
thing: like when I some civilians I know in New York came to a show I did that was mostly male comics and me, and there were women, and they just said like the guys. After a while, I just started tuning them out because it kind of all sounded the same,
Right.
And I would be fascinated to. I think it would be interesting to tape a show where all the comics we all feel like we did well or whatever everyone would agree that was a great show, and then to talk to the audience after, like a totally separate crew talking to the audience
Right.
to find out what their impressions were, and sometimes are you laughing because you actually found the person funny or because you're with a group of people that like the comic and you're kind of caught up in it.
That
But
sounds
if
like
you-
a nightmare.
It does.
That sounds
it
like a
does,
damn
but it is
nightmare.
interesting. Wouldn't it be
I'm
interesting?
sure it might be, but I don't want to be one of the comics.
No.
We get
No,
other comics.
people. Yes.
Yeah, because so that Austin Chronicle thing came out. Andy
Right.
Kindler defended me.
Right.
People rallied.
Yes.
Some woman tweeted at both Andy and I and said, I was there that night. It was great. The fat jokes got a little too much.
Oh,
And I was like, I don't have a fat joke. I think you're talking about that thing I talk about Oprah and the food and it's more of a sort of a Han Solo pants joke. Where
Yeah.
I'm gonna hunt you down. And all I did was I just blocked her. I was like, you know what I don't want? Your feedback.
yes.
And
yeah.
I'm good. I don't have a problem blocking people. Some people say you shouldn't block them because there are trolls.
gives them energy.
Yeah, it gives them. I'm like, I wish them the best of luck away from this room.
Yeah.
away from me and my stand-up comedy. I don't care. They don't
Get
have
away
to.
from me and my comedy.
You don't have to enjoy it.
Kill that documentary idea. I just suggested. But
Right.
no, I mean, because for me, the feedback, I know what I'm looking for, which is a laugh at
Right.
a certain time. And if I don't get it, then I go, oh, that's the problem. But if I
Retooling,
get
retooling.
yeah, that's it. Like I have this chunk I'm working about on my mom. It's like it kind of stops abruptly because I have like 4 really hard jokes and then I don't know how to get out of it besides an awkward pause and go, so what do you guys want to talk?
Well,
It definitely needs a final piece somehow that I don't have yet. So
right. Well, so on the Andy Kindler show, I decided to try a bit that I've been working on for approximately 3 years.
Yeah.
About grief.
Yeah.
And that Tom Papa premise that he said that I could do if I found a way to do it that wasn't his joke about
Yeah.
the difference between moms and dads. And because it's essentially about my stepmom dying.
Yeah.
And grief.
Yeah.
And then about my putting my stepmom against other people's crazy moms and how crazy moms are.
Yeah.
And how crazy and it's led to actually a couple of great jokes about the difference between the sort of the traditional roles and whatever. But and then it's this big chunk about my dad almost dying of heart surgery.
Yeah.
And not dying.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he lives. That's the good news. And then at the end of it, he said a thing that was very funny it's a callback.
Yeah.
It's a callback, but it's also a true thing that he said that the jackass does not fall that far from the tree, my friends.
Yeah.
So it is, I did that whole chunk, which is a 10-minute bit.
Wow.
That used to be, by the way, a 16-minute bit.
Wow.
3 years ago, that whole
What,
first
did you just drop it for a while?
I've been working on it off and on for
Yeah,
the last
yeah.
3 years, and it was just the grief bit, and the grief bit was 12 minutes, and I've got that down to almost 5, which is kind of exciting.
It's very exciting to trim because you're cutting the fat and you're getting it to its essence. you
Right,
know?
and eventually it'll just be set up, punch, punch, punch.
Yes.
Set up, punch, punch, punch. Yeah. And
Machine gun.
Right. And I will have got to talk about the damn thing I want to talk about, which is about grief and about
Yes.
how you don't get to be sad anymore. Everyone's just like, yeah, whatever. People
Yeah.
die. And you're like, yeah, I was thinking about being sad. And
Isn't
then
that what
reminiscing.
you said to me a couple podcasts ago? Weren't you like, yeah, whatever, people die?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because that's my knee-jerk response to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm not great. Somebody was telling me, I forget who was on it was that woman from Super Troopers, was on The Dork Forest, and she talked about how she had just gotten her first puppy. She had never gotten a puppy before.
Yeah.
And she was looking forward to that dog and raising that dog and having that dog and how great that dog was. And she was like, I was devastated at the idea that dog would ever die. And I was just, I literally was living in this future where, oh, one day that dog's going to die. I don't know what I'll do. And without even thinking, Jackie Cation said, you'll get a new dog. Nobody wanted to hear that. That's not the correct answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you? So, is this the week that you do? Are you going to do any sets this week?
Yeah, I'm doing your thing on Saturday night at the Lab.
We're doing the greatest.
We're on a great show. And
We're
I
on
love
another great
you
show
last
that-
named it again.
I was like, yeah, she's right. We can just last name
Yeah.
it. The part of Laura House will be played by Guy Branum, and because it's Kilgariff, Kilmartin,
yeah.
Cation,
Yeah.
and then Guy Branum and Maria Bamford.
Yeah.
And then
Bamford.
Bamford.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Bamford, Branham, Kilgariff, Kilmartin, Cation.
3 Ks, 2 Bs
3 Ks, 2 Bs.
at the eye.
And then supposedly a mystery guest who I was just told by the Improv he might be sick that night. And I was like, is he looking forward to that? I was like, who cares, Nick Swartzen?
Is there an addict
No,
on
I
the
don't
show?
It is not Nick Swartzen. So it is not little Nicky Swartzen. But anyway, so that's what we're doing. We're both doing that Saturday at the Improv. It's Saturday at the Improv Lab.
On April 30th. If you
April
can come out.
30th, if you can come out, 8 o'clock. And if you go to their site, you can get $2 off, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever. You can also email me, probably. And
Yeah.
I put you on a list
Yeah.
I guess. But I don't know. They should probably fill the room.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun.
Yeah.
What else is going on, Laura Martin? You want to plug anything else?
Now, Flappers, right? 6th and 7th.
Hey,
I
let's
might be
gather
writing
again.
a book.
You might be writing what kind of book?
I'm not going to tell
Novel?
you.
Novel?
It's got it. No, not a novel.
Science
It's a same template as the book I wrote.
Right. But a
By the
different
way,
topic.
most satisfingly, the second book.
Yeah.
Tanking.
That is there's joy in that.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, you didn't put a voodoo thing on it. You didn't make a doll. And
Somebody
stick a
tweeted,
pin.
"Hey, you want us to go on it?" No,
Oh,
no,
right.
no.
Not at all.
Just you know, you just let it. It's
Let
like
it die its own
like
death.
the audience. Like when someone's heckling you, you can. You know what? I'm just going to let this person hang themselves,
Yep.
and then I will just put the final cinch around the noose. But basically, it can do itself. If it's not good enough, it's not good enough.
Yes. I saw Ira Glass kind of drives me a little bit, but there was a
He
little
what- he-
drives me a little nuts. But,
Yes.
but he's got this great meme out that somebody made.
Yeah.
It's a video of something he said and they've just done the words for it.
Oh, wow.
And it's about trying to do something. How you want to be good at something.
Yeah.
But when you first start working on
Yeah.
stuff, you're not good at it.
Right.
Because you don't know how to do it. It's a learned skill. Everything's a learned skill. And it's just about just being good to yourself as a beginner.
Yeah.
You know, just letting yourself, it was like, you have good taste. You recognize that your stuff isn't very good.
Yeah.
And so cut yourself some slack and keep working on it, and it'll eventually get better, and you'll be fine. And I thought it was
It's perfect for stand-up, man.
it's perfect for stand-up.
Yeah.
Because nobody's good in the beginning. I mean, if you write great setups, that's
Maybe
great.
John Mulaney was good in the beginning.
Dave Mordahl was good in the beginning because he started when he was 36, and he had great stories.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a few people that are good. There, I think Chappelle probably was too.
Yeah, I didn't see him. I've never seen Chappelle, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. I've never seen his long set.
I worked with them a couple.
I've never
worked with
even
them in
seen that
Akron.
show. I didn't have cable. So I
Wow.
never saw.
Well, it's available.
Turns
on
out it's on the internet.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Did
There's
you
a
see
lot
the
of
Prince
things-
sketch?
No.
Oh, so funny. You
You know
got to
what I
check
did
it
see? I
out.
saw the Prince sketch when he was on the Sesame Street. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
It's great. It's him And the rat is telling him that you can't just write a song about anything. He's like, I can write a song about anything. I can write a song about whatever they're serving for lunch at this diner. And then he does a song for Sesame Street. And then the rats, and they had bet $5, and the rat gave him $5. And then he said, I bet you can't write a song about dessert. And then there's a punchline. So Google it and watch it because it's super sweet.
Muppet Show.
Was it the Muppet Show? It wasn't.
Tonight.
Muppets Tonight, you guys. I'm wrong. Kyle knows. Huge reveal. Jackie Cation doesn't know things. There are buildings full of things I don't know, you guys. So,
isn't it though satisfying to take a grief, like a real life situation, and turn it into jokes that work,
Yeah.
that aren't easy jokes, like they really do get to the core of it,
yeah.
and then at that work on a Saturday night show in
That
front
work
of
at a
regular
first,
audience.
in front of like mom and dad from
Yeah.
Texas. Yeah.
It feels good.
And they come up to you afterwards and they're like, you know what? People die and it was super sad and you made it okay for me to laugh about it.
That's cool.
It's neat, right?
Yeah.
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 That's the best part.
That's the cool thing about getting older is we're starting to have more of these like profound experiences, or realizing they're profound and going, how can I flip this?
turn it into
How can
comedy.
I do what Beyonce did to what obviously is a very painful situation. She
Right.
made it into
She made it in music.
lemonade or lemon-dade, but whatever she, but it's having a huge effect on people.
Right.
And in our tiny way, comics,
Yeah.
it's not the getting laughs isn't as considered as prestigious as getting someone to cry, but it really actually counts as much.
I think it counts. I mean, one of the things I love about stand-up is the way it does, and it's going to sound corny, but the way it fixes stuff inside of
Yeah.
you. It just, it untwists
Yes.
whatever's, like you're all twisted up inside.
You're
and then
tangled.
and if you can untangle that
Mm-hmm.
with a joke, everybody can laugh. And, you laugh, you cry.
Yeah, you untangle it, and maybe it sort of loosens it for somebody in the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did a long thing about the history of my dad with all that sales stuff as a one-person show 15 years ago called Salesmen and Thieves.
Yeah.
And all of my siblings saw it.
Yeah.
And they were able to then talk about how we could be proud that my dad is a salesman.
Wow.
And previously it was just like, what a dick. And, you're like, yeah, but he's really good at it. And we can celebrate the things that he is good at.
Yeah.
And you have to find, everyone's a mess. Everyone has, and a lot of people's parents, they came from broken,
Severely
situations,
broken.
right?
Yes.
So they're broken.
Shut down emotionally.
Right, they came from. Gee, I wonder who you're talking about. And, but if we can all sort of see what is still lovable about those people that are broken, you can kind of get through it and still be driven mad by the crazy. The fact that she's sitting there watching Bill O'Reilly, not great. But there's things that are lovable.
Like
about
I
her
can
anyway.
leave and go to New York for a weekend. 'cause
How
she'll
great
take
is
care of
that?
my kid.
She'll look at your child and go, "Hey, there he is. That's my grandson."
All right, let's call it a night.
You want to call it?
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about other things later.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.